Hey, good evening, everybody. How's everybody? Everybody seems awful quiet tonight. Why is everybody so quiet? Very, very quiet. We want to welcome everybody to True North. If you are joining us live online, we want to welcome you as well. Thanks for being with us tonight. Hey guys, during our 4-minute party, just head back to the camera right over there and find somebody that is at home how many of you know that there is somebody watching at home? Who knows somebody personally watching at home? All right, your job is to go and say hi to them over at that camera when we do the shout outs here in just a moment for our 4-minute party. We have a lot of exciting things to get to tonight. We're really glad that you're here. If you are a guest, we want you to know that you are welcome. If everybody can take a moment and silence your cell phone for just a few moments while we enjoy tonight. Again, thanks for being with us at home. Thanks for being with us here. We're really excited about all that's going to take place tonight. Let's see. Oh, somebody asked again from last week. They said, hey, I've got a Miss True North this week, so how do I join in? We showed you this last week, but if you're watching at home, this might help you to catch up, or any of you here that missed something. If you go to the NBYG, or just type in NBYG on YouTube, you'll go to our YouTube channel. You're going to click on the logo there, and when you do that, you'll find our channel. If you go to playlist, you will be able to see this particular playlist will pop up. You click on view the whole playlist, and you will see all the True Norths that have happened since we started back. And they're all there thanks to Mike and his team. They've done a fabulous job. And then you can click on the one that you want to watch, and you can catch up. You can scroll through it, and you can kind of check something if you missed, or you can watch a part of it that you want to go back and see again if you were in person or if you missed it or whatever, however you want to do that. On this note, Mike asked me to mention this. If you are a student or an adult and you are interested in audio-visual production, anybody that is interested in audio-visual production, you can join the AV team on Sunday mornings. You don't have to have any training. You're going to be able to get your volunteer hours for school. You can email Mike at that particular email address there, or you can talk to him back there. Mike, I know people watching at home can't exactly hear you talk, but about how many people are you looking for? How many people do you need right now?
As many as I can get.
As many as you can get. Real quickly, what kind of things would these people be doing?
Like running PowerPoint on computers, maybe learning how to do the soundboard for the live broadcast on Sunday mornings, or maybe even here tonight.
Okay.
Running cameras for True North, running cameras inside for Sunday morning.
If you have a desire to help out and work, not necessarily, you won't be doing every single service, but you may take a month at a time or a couple of weeks or fill in for somebody. Mike is desperately in need of some volunteers, and I think it's only appropriate, especially today. Nobody has any idea. There's like 3 of us that have any idea what kind of work Mike put in today to make True North happen tonight. But he and his team do a fabulous job to keep us online. So those of you online, you can applaud in your homes. But everybody here, I know he doesn't want it, but I want to make sure that we acknowledge Mike and his team. They do a fabulous job to keep us up and running. And they need help. So, hey, students, if you're looking for a way to help, just go and talk to them. Some of you, this is your thing. You're like, I've been waiting for an opportunity. I'd be glad to help out with this. That would be fabulous. Okay, Blake, we want to celebrate some birthdays. Come up here and help us celebrate some birthdays. Anybody that, it's not birthday time, but we'll do that in just a minute. But then we'll also welcome some guests if we're ready to do that. Hey, before we do that, before we forget again, why don't we talk about these?
Yeah, so during the 4-minute party, you can go back and see Alex and Jake and buy a NBYG sticker. There are limited supplies last, and these could be one of a kind.
They're limited supplies last.
Yeah, So
That's
whatever,
good.
however it works, Flex Seal. And so anyways, if you get this could be the only one that ever is like this. We don't know if we're going to get more. We don't know if we're going to change them up. But the limited edition NBYG sticker is for sale $1.
$1.
$1.
You can get more than one if you like. You can. As a matter of fact, my mom called and she ordered 10 of them.
Right.
And so we said, I've got a $10 bill I've got to put in the basket for those. This money is all going to go back to help us with funds that we need here, whether it's to go to Liliana. Some of them are going to help us recover our food costs, because we are in debt pretty big time over the food since the pandemic, since we've kind of rejoined. So we are going to use some of that money to help offset some other costs, but buy a sticker or more. Put them on a car, a water bottle. Do you have one? Where's yours?
Laptop. Mine's on a laptop.
Okay.
And also in the inside flap of my Bible.
Oh, if you had a third one, where would you put it?
I would put it on the grill in Ensenada.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Matzos.
Very good. Good choice. So we'll do this. If you get one and you get a picture, you send us a picture of without vandalism. You can't just go to, like your school and just put it on the wall. I mean, we don't want to do that. But if you, the place where you have your sticker, if it's in a cool place, we'll give you a week to do this. And the coolest one that we see, we'll just decide where the coolest sticker, like that's a really cool place to put an MBYG sticker.
Especially with fall break coming up. Oh, it's
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah. But again, it needs to be a legal place. But go put it somewhere, and then after fall break, we'll wait till after fall break.
Right.
Whoever sends us a picture and says, here is an MBYG sticker, it's represented in this town or in this place or in my house here or whatever, we'll give 10 MBYG bucks, so you'll get 10 times the amount you paid in to get a sticker.
Right. And it can go towards the thing that we're having the next weekend. The fall retreat.
Oh, yeah, next week, a couple weekends.
Yeah, a couple weekends.
Yeah, right. I was like, what's happening next weekend?
Sorry.
I was afraid I was going to miss it.
Well, it would be the following weekend.
Okay.
Of the Wednesday that they would get the
Let's just
MBYG
have two retreats. Why not?
Yeah.
So buy a sticker. You guys got them back there? Jake, you got them? Yeah, they're $1, so get the stickers. Okay, we're going to do this. We have quite a few guests. I've already met a few guests. We want to get a chance to meet you. Everybody else here, we want you to give shout-outs there. We want you to find somebody you've not seen in a while, somebody you don't know. Adults, we want you to play along as well. And everybody, if you are a guest, come on up here and meet some of our students. They'll be up here right now. Come on up, guys. Some of our students are going to be up here, and they'll give you a Baskin-Robbins gift card just for visiting. You'll fill out a visitor form, and we want to make sure that we meet everybody. Hey, everybody, let's take about 3.5 minutes. Let's cram a 4-minute party into 3.5 minutes. Let's all stand up and meet somebody you don't know. Let's do that now.
Jake and Alex are right here to get your
you want a
MBYG
sticker?
stickers.
Jake and Alex are right over there with MBYG stickers. Go grab them. Anybody that is a first-time guest, come on up here and say hello. At home. We miss you guys. We hope you all are well. A specific shout out to my mom who's watching tonight. I love you, Mom.
Hi, Granny and Mom. Love you.
And we love to have anybody join us whenever you feel good about coming back. Come and join us. Lots of fun things are going to happen tonight. We're going to reveal our fall retreat theme, our fall retreat speaker. We have a special video of an activity we had last week we're going to show. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, coming up, 3, 4, and 5, answers 3, 4, and 5 to the lies that our students wrote down a couple of weeks ago. 70 lies they're tempted to believe, and we're giving God's 5 responses. We covered 1 and 2 last week. We're going to look at 3, 4, and 5. Are you ready? Okay, all right, very good. We'll see you all later. Hey, thanks again, Mike. My mom said to thank you all. So good job. Love everybody at home. Take care. See you soon. Hey, raise your hand if you, in fact, did meet somebody that you did not know, or maybe you've forgotten. Raise your hand if you met somebody. Okay, nice work. Those of you that raise your hand, we appreciate you doing that. Tonight is our last night. Tonight is our final night to collect Bibles, money for Bibles in Eastern Europe, okay? I've got to go take care of something real quick. Can you talk about this for just a moment? And you don't have to go into specifics about this. We can say thank you for that, all right?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if you want to advance that. That'll be great. I'll be back in a second.
So EEM is a European missions group that goes around and puts Bibles in schools. And so what you do is we're trying to raise, our goal as the MBYG is to raise raise $1,000 for a school. It's $1,000 for a school. We've gotten really close to really surpass that. We've had, 5 or 6 people say that they'll match whatever we raise.
We've had 6 matches of $1,000.
Right.
One of those matches is going to match the total raised by you all on Wednesday nights. So whatever you make, whatever our total is currently, which we'll show right now, why not? Last week, these are the countries we're trying to give Bibles to, raise $1,000. Last week, you all gave $287. Our previous total was $1,191, which now means we have $1,478. So at least one person is going to match that plus whatever is given tonight. All the other matches matched up to $1,000, and there are 6 of those. So it's pretty amazing. And then we had a gift left for us tonight.
Yeah, we had a gift. I won't go into the super specifics, but someone, instead of using some funds that they had for personal reasons, they said, hey, I'm going to give it back. And so tonight we had a donation of...
Yeah, it was an anonymous gift, and it was quite a bit.
Yeah, it was...
over a couple $100.
Yes.
That was left here by somebody in the room, so thank you very much. And whatever you were going to use it for, I pray that the Spirit somehow affirms your sacrifice to give that. That's pretty incredible, because I'm guessing for anybody in this room, the amount of money in there would be a sacrifice. And you need to know that, about $200 is going to touch the lives of a significant amount of people.
Right, because Bibles are what? $5. So $200 would be 40 Bibles. I did that math right.
Yeah, you
okay,
did, yeah.
There you go. Wow, on the fly, guys.
Nice.
Thank
Good job.
you. Thank you.
And then each of those people,
they're supposed to say one Bible is going to affect 3 people. So
that's right.
40 Bibles, that's 120 people. Thank you.
That's going to be amazing.
Stop it.
That's pretty good doing math. We're going to have a weekly segment where Blake does math.
Yeah, let's not go too crazy.
Okay. But that's really awesome. So whoever did that, I know you did it and wanted to remain anonymous and may not have wanted us to say something here, but I think it's amazing that there are people that have said, it's on my heart to put Bibles, and we really have no idea. You really have no way of knowing. And I really believe this. This isn't just, youth minister talk. Somebody's going to get a Bible from this money and the rest of this money. And I do believe that in the new heavens and the new earth, I really believe that there will be a moment where somebody will walk up and say, you know what, it was you. You're like, what do you mean? You have no idea who I am, but God just told me that you're the one that provided the money for the Bible that I had and my whole family, and here's my whole village or my house or my kids or whatever, and we're here because of the money that you gave. That's pretty exciting. EEM, Daryl Willis, who was here a couple weeks ago, he's not going to be able to be here in person to get a check after fall break, but we're going to probably call him and let him know. So tonight is the final night to give to that. If you've got $1, if you've got 50 cents, whatever you want to give, somebody is going to match what we donate tonight, and so that's going to be amazing. Whew, that was good. I'm excited about that. Okay, so the next thing, now we're going into pictures. Is that right? I think that's the next thing. I should make a list. I should start, or just do that. That lets me know what's coming up next. All right, our pictures of the week is not really a picture. It's a lot of pictures really, really fast. It's called a video.
Oh, okay.
We're going to show a video. We had a little excursion this past Saturday night. Seniors, raise your hands or make some noise. All of our seniors. Well, that was a lot of noise. 7th graders, raise your hands and make some noise. Okay, good. That was like 3 or 4 loud noises. We had a little moment this past weekend where our seniors went and kidnapped the 7th graders, and we had a pretty fun night here at the East Campus. We had a lot of fun, and we didn't get to record all. We didn't get to put all of it on video, so I'm sorry we couldn't use all the footage that was submitted to us. But just a little bit of a look back on the night that we had, and these are our pictures of the week. We'll cut those lights back there and enjoy. We had a lot of fun. There we are. Hey, so you saw in the video we gave out something to all of our 7th graders, and Blake's got some of them up here. If you were a 7th grader and you were not a part of the event Saturday or couldn't be a part, or maybe you somehow did not get one of these, tell them what we gave out.
Okay, so we gave out this lunch box, which has a lot of really awesome gifts and trinkets and other words that like a grandmother would use. And yeah.
What was that? Okay.
Schlotzsky's.
I don't even know what that. I thought that was a restaurant that made sandwiches.
But anyways,
That's Schlotzsky's. I know. I got it.
Yeah, we didn't get any.
All
there's
those
no
things in there
Schlotzsky's.
have a common purpose, though, right?
Right. Everything in here is in here for a reason, and this folder, which is top secret information for 7th grade eyes only, gives you an explanation for what each thing means. But there's also a $5 Sonic gift card in here. So try to find a senior that will take you to Sonic so that you can use your gift card with them.
And what did we call this again? What was it?
This is, on the front, it is the MBYG, the declassified MBYG survival guide. And so it's got everything that will kind of help you go throughout the year in the MBYG for your first year.
Yeah, this year's group of 7th graders did not get camp. They did not get Exit 6. They did not get Junior Impact. They did not get a lot of things that we normally have. And so, to our new 7th graders, this is a survival kit. Nobody's ever gotten this before. This is totally new just for you. We may walk through one of these in a True North night in the future because these are all things that we all need to survive middle school and high school and our time in the MBYG. But this is, you all get the first crack at it. So if you're a 7th grader and you did not get one, you need to come and find us tonight when you're done, and we'll get you one of these, okay? Yep. We have several 7th graders that did not get them, so we'd love to pass those out. That's awesome. 7th graders, welcome. Seniors, great job the other night. You did a fabulous job. Was there a moment of the night that was a highlight for you?
It was so I had Seth Countess and Sam Duggar. It was pretty funny talking to them in the car before we were going to go into to take the 7th grader to phaser craze that we had, and listening to them like confusingly babble about what they were supposed to do and how they were supposed to do it was pretty good. But we go up and I think Seth knocked on the door, Sam rang the doorbell about 19 times, and then you just kind of saw a 7th grader's head peep through like the glass of their door, and then Blake Derryberry opened it and goes, "I'm being kidnapped, aren't I?" And that was pretty awesome. And he didn't have any shoes on, so it took a while for him to get his shoes on, and then we were ready to go. So it was fun.
We had a lot of fun. It was cool because there were I got several email messages or text messages where several of the 7th graders just said, I just felt really special. Seniors, you did a great job in making them feel special. Nice work. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. So we had to do things a little differently than we normally do them, but it was fun. And laser tag is always enjoyable.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I mean, if you do well. If you don't do well, it's not fun.
Let's move on and talk about the big news of the night. One of the biggest news of the night. Our fall retreat, the 16th through the 18th. If you, we've extended the early bird deadline to October the
7th.
7th, okay. And if you, after the 7th, it'll go up to $75. You can sign up online, go to nbyg.org. And as we promised, we're going to let you in on a little bit of back information as to what our theme is going to be and who our speaker is going to be. I'm really excited. This person has never spoken to the NBYG, at least on our turf and our events. Little secret there. But we'll turn the lights out. And Mike, let's go ahead and roll this particular clip. We'll show you our theme first, and then we'll go into our speaker in just a moment. So our theme for the fall retreat is unmasked. And to do that, we invited a very special friend, somebody that many of you know, but you may not know that you know. So let's check this out and let's meet somebody who's going to come and share. I'm quite excited. It'll be a lot of fun.
What's up, NBYG? I'm looking forward to getting to be y'all's speaker here in just a couple of weeks. I'm really looking forward to that time we're going to get to have together, and I'm going to be talking to you about taking this mask off. I can't wait to take this thing off. I know some of y'all can probably feel the same of just you don't want to wear a mask anymore. So let me go ahead and get this thing off. Whew, man. Well, I still got another mask on. Well, that's oftentimes our problem. I'm gonna be talking about that too. I want to let you in on a little bit of a spoiler too. Just a little bit of a spoiler for the weekend is Satan really likes it when we wear masks. He really likes it. Guys, I'm looking forward to talking with you about how to take it off, how to keep it off, just realizing that we're even wearing them in the first place. Sometimes we don't think we have them on, but we do. Guys, we're just going to be coming up with a strategy on how to not let Satan rule that and try to keep us in masks when we don't need to be wearing them. But I'm excited to talk to you about that. I'm looking forward to being with you. My name's Jesse Stacy. I know some of y'all from Impact. I've been a teacher there for about 4 years, and I've really enjoyed that time. So I'm looking forward to getting to see y'all and getting to know y'all even better that coming weekend. All right, NBYG. Until then, go Web.
How many of you all remember Jesse from Impact? Anybody have been to Jesse's class before? Jesse's a pretty creative, clever, energetic teacher, and he had one of the highest reviewed classes from Impact this past year. It was pretty awesome. I got to actually watch it with you all that last day. And Jesse's from the Little Rock area. Jesse is bringing a friend with him. And I'm not going to say any more about that. He's bringing somebody, it's a real person. He's bringing somebody, and that story, when I met his friend at an event recently, I called Jesse and I said, hey, you're coming to the retreat. I would love for you to bring your friend. And he was like, well, I can ask. And he called and his friend said, yeah, I'd love to come. Their story is fabulous. Here's why we're doing this particular theme. We've spent a long time talking about trying to get rid of these masks. A lot of people are like, when can I take this mask off? And a lot of people are fighting about the mask. And a lot of people are like, I can't breathe with one. I don't want to wear one. Why have I got to wear one? And even though we are certainly committed to protecting the health of the people around us, we're still like, oh, this is one of the parts of the pandemic that has been the most inconvenient for a lot of people. The problem is the things that everybody says about these masks that we wear, most of us aren't saying those things about the spiritual masks that we all wear and hide behind. Most of us aren't as frustrated about those. In fact, we don't want to leave home without those, and we want to make sure that we're not caught without them. And Jesse is a guy to talk about it. I don't care if you don't like superheroes. I don't care if you don't like comic books. That's not even really the whole point. We're going to kind of theme it out that way, but the idea is going to be about living authentic lives before God so that we can take the masks off before God. I'm excited about Jesse coming. Have you been in Jesse's classes?
Yeah, I've been in Jesse's class for the past 4 years at Impact, and there's always something memorable that happens that you take away. There's never been a class where I've said, I don't remember anything that happened. Because when in having conversations about whether or not who our speaker would be, there were a lot of things that I remembered from his classes, and so they're very memorable. And I think he is, I think you said it really well, he is the guy that is for this theme. And it fits really, really well.
And not just because, as you could tell from his office, that he likes comic books and likes things like that. That's not the reason we picked him. One of the reasons we asked him to come is because Jesse's story, just his own personal testimony of his growing up, is a really powerful story. And he's overcome quite a bit. The story that he's passed on to his friend is an amazing story, and you're going to be really blessed if you're able to be a part of the retreat. So to do that, you go to nbyg.org, you sign up. If you have NBYG bucks, call the office. Blake or myself or Vicky will give you a code that you enter in to do so. If right now we know that it's a kind of a challenging time for everybody, we do have partial and full scholarships available. We don't want money to be a reason that somebody doesn't go. Even though we have other areas where money's tight in our youth budget, we've got some accounts where we can help. If you say, I really want to be on the retreat, but I don't know that I can go, or only one member of my family can go, we want to help you to be able to go. Okay, so talk to us and let us know. Otherwise, we will have no way of knowing that. But you sign up online, you pay online, and you do that by October the 7th if you want to get the early bird discount. Anything else about the retreat?
Yeah, I think, we've talked a lot about these masks and what we're going to do with them and that kind of thing. And I think what the pandemic has shown us is it's now with this more than ever, it's easier to cover up ourselves. And I talked about it a couple of nights ago, or a couple of weeks ago, where a lot of us come in here and we're not worshiping, and we're okay with that because nobody can tell we're not worshiping, or not singing the songs, or not smiling, and it's just easier to hide behind this because everybody is okay with this, or at least okay enough to wear it. And this is going to be a fall retreat that I think is going to change our outlook on what we're hiding in reality. Because when these masks come off, your spiritual mask will still stay on. And figuring out how to take it off just by ourselves, with God, but with each other, I think is a really, really big deal. And I think it's important to be at this fall retreat more than any other.
Just to be in Lynchburg a couple weeks ago when we went and made the video that we showed last week was a really cool moment. And just to be up at Lynchburg again was great. There's some really holy ground spots for a lot of us. Some of you in the room have never been. And for some of you, it's been over a year since you've been able to be back there, since we didn't get to go this summer. So it's going to be really cool to be in that place again. You may want to just drive up on Saturday. You may not want to stay the entire weekend or be able to stay the whole weekend. We'll work something out with you, but let us know. It's going to be a lot of fun. Jesse's going to do a fabulous job. He is really pumped. He's really pumped about it. It's going to be a great weekend. We're nearing the end of September, like today, and then we're moving into October. And so these folks prayed for us last week. Thank you. I talked to quite a few of them. David Garman stopped me the other day. I guess his day was Sunday, and he said, hey, I was up here at the church, and I spent my time walking around. He prayed for every person by name in the NBYG. That was amazing. And then these are the folks that are up this week. So if you see your name or somebody you know, if you're watching at home and you see your name here, this is where we are. We're getting close to filling these spots.
Yeah, we're down to 28 days. That's 4 weeks. Wow, that's crazy considering where we were and where we are now. So sign up. I think we have our calendars. We may not, but we do. We have the calendars here. There's a sign up genius. Text me, text Skid, or text one of the interns, and we'll get that figured out and get you on there. Because there's only 28 days. And that in itself is one. Thank you for signing up so far. And thank you for those that are going to sign up to finish out the year, because it's been really cool to watch this all come together.
We need 28 more people, either watching at home or here in the room, to sign up for a day. You pray for the number of minutes equal to your age on that day. You fill out a card like the ones you see here. We'll mail one to you, or you can get one here, and we'll fill in the entire year. October, November, and December remain. Let's finish out the entire year, 2020, hashtag NBYG Pray Day. It's pretty cool to read some of these. So if at any time when you get here early, just go up and just read through some of these, and it can be a really, really cool moment. Okay, guys, if you're helping us sing, if you guys want to come up and take your spot, in just a moment, we have some of our students are going to be praying for you, and I'm going to ask them to go ahead and stand up and surround around the room. If you're one of our prayer team members and you want to have a prayer with one of these students, just find somebody. Find one of these folks to pray with, have them pray with you or for you. And Sharon Thornhill, once again, is at home with her phone right now. So I would love if at least 3 or 4 of you would send a text to this number right now with a prayer request, with a prayer request for her, because she's waiting right now. Adults, feel free to do that as well if you want to pray for your family. I know that there are some families even in this room that we want to be praying for. So send a text request to Sharon at this number right there. I'll leave it up for the next few moments. We're going to go into a time of worship. Before when we do that, we're going to ask those with the baskets to come on up and bring them up. They'll start passing those. When they pass the basket and you put the money in it, if you're a guest, please don't feel obligated to put anything in there. This is for our group. It's something that we're doing. And again, tonight's money will be matched by somebody else as well, whatever we get as a total. When you have given, then just stand up and we'll continue to worship together. If you got it, say got it.
Got it.
All right, great night. Let's sing together, folks. We'll sing a couple of songs while you're seated. Wait till sit down. We'll sing, and then when the basket comes to you, then you can stand up once the basket's passed by you, okay? Last night for EM. Let's worship God. God, be with us as we give from our hearts. And God, I thank you for the sacrifices that have been made by several families, tremendous sacrifices, and tremendous sacrifices by students. God, we're thankful for every person. You know every person who received these Bibles from this money that's been collected over the last 5 Wednesdays. You know every person who's going to receive it. And so, God, we just ask right now that you would continue to pour your blessing out on those countries and those villages and those homes. God, we thank you for this offering. It's in the name of Jesus that we pray. We say together. Amen. When the basket is passed by you, feel free to stand up. Hide me away, O Lord.
Hide me away.
together the first time through, then we'll echo the second time through. We place you on the highest place, for you are the great high priest. We place you high above all else, and we come to you
Lord.
glad that you are here with us. If you've been a part of this particular series for the past several weeks since we started back in August, you'll know that hopefully tonight we're going to try to land this. If you missed a part of it, you can go back on our YouTube channel and you can kind of catch up. I had some volunteers. I had 5 volunteers last week, and I want to go ahead and jump in almost like right where we left off, because I'm not going to do a lot of review to make sure we have time to get done. We've got to land the plane tonight. We are not meeting next week. Wednesday is a fall break for many of our students, and we're not going to meet next week. And you say, what, you're canceling church? No, you're the church. If you want to get together at a restaurant or in somebody's home or a D group, you want to get together and read the Bible with 1 or 2 other people, you want to get together and pray with somebody, you want to get together somewhere, out in a park or at somebody's house, feel free to do that. We want you to get together. If you want to get together via Zoom and you're at the beach with some other people, you want to get together on Wednesday night, do that. But we're not going to be meeting in here. We're not going to be meeting here on Wednesday night. If you got it, say got it. Okay, just make sure that you are aware of that. And we will resume back on our regular schedule again starting next, the Wednesday following that. And you also need to know that on October the 11th, we will be in here Sunday morning for class. It'll be a combined class of everybody that's in town. We're going to have donuts, juice, milk. It's going to be a big kind of party to kind of kick off our normal schedule. We will not meet the weekend of the retreat because many of us will be at the retreat. There will be a class for you here, okay? Okay, hey, Charlie. Charlie, can you do me a favor? Can you grab a seat, Charlie? Would you mind having a seat? Thank you so much, buddy. Great job. I appreciate that. Glad you're here. And I appreciate you, Charlie. I want to make sure that you know that on October the 25th, we're going to start back with our regular classes by grade. So 7th and 8th grade girls, you're going to be combined together. 7th and 8th grade boys will be combined. And then 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th will meet by grade. We start back with that schedule. We're really excited about that. If you're willing and able to meet with us here in person on Sunday mornings, do that. Okay, let's do this. Where are my 5 volunteers? Are all 5 of them here? If you're here, come on up. If our 5 folks are here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Who is not here? Okay, then we're going to need somebody to take. Who was it that was the other person? It was Miley. Which Miley? I can't hear what you're saying. I can't hear anything. Oh, okay. I think you said Spate. And I was like, was it Mallory or Molly or Miley? Okay. So, okay, Molly Smith. Got it. All right, so we need another girl to come up here and join us. If there's somebody that'll come up here, okay, come on up, Mandy. And just fill in there for Molly. Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't hear. All right, so we're going to use these 5 folks. If you were here a couple of weeks ago, we had you make a list of all of the lies that you are tempted to believe. If you want to go back and listen to that list, you can go back 2 weeks and listen to it. If you're listening in online, it's a heartbreaking list, but you'll want to go back and kind of know that to have context for this. You guys made a list of almost 80, about 75 lies that you are tempted to believe. And I said we were going to give you the counter to those lies. So many of you were expecting, oh good, that's the lie. You're going to tell us the truth. Or you're going to tell us that if I don't feel loved, you're going to remind me that I'm loved. Or if I don't feel like this, you're going to remind me that I'm this. And all those things are true and good to do. But there are 5 things that God says, hey, you do these 5 things. North Boulevard, we kind of call these our 5 benchmarks. Some of you are going to remember this list. We've gone over it for years, but it's been a while. Some of you will hear it from the pulpit soon. Some of you will hear it in other settings. But we talk about these 5 benchmarks that remind us of here are these 5 places that every believer should be a part of. Now, we covered a couple of them, but I just want to go back to this passage from 1 Peter 4. Those of you that are writing or taking notes or making notes in a journal, 1 Peter 4. This is where kind of the comic book cover comes in for our fall retreat. Some of you may have seen the asteroid that is hurtling towards the earth. There's a big asteroid that's coming to the earth, and we talked about that in real life. There's an asteroid that's supposedly hurtling towards earth. It's probably not going to hit us, and it's very small, and we should be fine. But in our comic book cover, there's an asteroid coming, and right in the middle of the comic book, it says these words, "The end is near." And Peter says, the end of all things is near. Therefore, be alert and of sober mind so that you may pray. Another reason for the NBYG Pray Day. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. If anyone speaks, they should do it as one who speaks the very words of God. And if anyone serves, they should do so with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. To Him be the glory and the power forever. Dear friends, don't be surprised at the fiery ordeal that has come on you to test you as though something strange were happening to you. But rejoice inasmuch as you participate in the sufferings of Christ, so that you may be overjoyed when His glory is revealed. I want to make sure that passage keeps staying in our mind. Rejoice inasmuch as you participate in the sufferings of Christ, so that you may be overjoyed when His glory is revealed. So, here were our 5 things. One at a time, we'll have you stand up. So go ahead and stand back up. All right, so do you remember yours from last week? Okay, you say it again louder. Okay, all right, very much. We said experience an authentic conversion, and the word that we had was the word surrender. And so that was kind of our motion for surrender. So everybody just surrender. All right, we're going to surrender. At some point, God says, if you want to take these lies and you want to turn the lie around, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to surrender. And you say, wait a minute, I'm believing this lie, and right now I'm under attack, and you're asking me to surrender? Like you're just telling me to give up? No. You got to hear the whole story. You say, God, I cannot fight this. This thing that I'm struggling, this lie that I'm believing, this addiction that I'm battling, this attitude that I keep being swamped with, I can't handle it alone. I'm going to surrender. And you experience an authentic conversion. This is more than baptism. Baptism is significant. And there are some of you in the room that are still trying to investigate, what does that mean? What does it look like? There's some in the room that have never heard of it. Some of you have seen one, but you don't know much about it. Ask one of us. Ask somebody. Ask one of your friends to ask one of us, and we'll discuss it with you. And say, our message is not just, well, you better be baptized because the Bible says this. Our message is, let us tell you what baptism represents. Let us tell you what God has done. And then you probably will come to the conclusion yourself at some point that, okay, this is something that I need to experience. But is it just baptism? No. You have to experience an authentic conversion, meaning you take off your mask and you say, I'm not just being baptized, God, I am dying. I'm not just getting dunked in water, I am dying. I'm not dying like my pulse isn't going to stop. I'm saying, God, I'm dying to myself. I'm saying, I want you to be in charge. Experience an authentic conversion. And we call that, say the word, everybody. The word surrender. These are pretty easy to remember, especially if you remember the one word deal. Okay, the next one we had. So we have be committed to holy and righteous living. All right, do you remember what the word was? Okay, submit. You remember what the action was? Okay, that we're just going to kind of bow our heads, or like we are standing in front of a God that was so much bigger than us, and we're going to submit. Everybody just say that word, submit. Be committed to holy and righteous living. Here's the problem. There's a lot of us in the room that are really good at True North. And there's a lot of us in the room that are really good at church, or when we're with our grandparents, or when we're with our family, or when we're with certain friends. But one of the lies that we saw over and over again was, I can't be accepted by my friends acting this way, the way I try to act here. And you may say, this is the real me here. The me at school, hey, Skid, don't worry. That's just a fake. That's not really me. You may see or hear me or read things on social media. That's not really me. I just do that so I can survive in that world. That's not the real me. Now, for some of you, that is the real you, and we see a version of you that is masked here. And it's very difficult to tell. But I will tell you this, eventually, it becomes very, very tough to distinguish between the two. The real you here suddenly starts getting overwhelmed with the lies of the world, and you find yourself, and I know all of us have done that. This isn't to make anybody feel guilty. This is to walk us through how we counter these lies. Some of you begin to realize, I don't even know who the real me is anymore. I don't even know if that's a lie. I'm kind of tempted to believe the lie. And so you submit. When you surrender, you're not just giving up as much as you're giving over. And then when you submit, you're saying, I'm not just giving up and bowing out, I'm bowing down. I'm saying, God, you know better. And so I want to be committed to holy and righteous living. And I'm telling you, it's difficult. It is a daily decision. That's why Jesus said, take up your cross daily and follow me. I mean, daily you have to decide the language that you're going to use. Daily. Daily you have to decide what you're going to look at on the internet. Daily you're going to decide how you're going to sit at the lunch table and talk about the other people in your grade. Daily you have to make these, every day these decisions have to be made. And you have to make them when you're 49 years old as well. And from what I hear, when you're 59 years old, you have to continue to make these decisions that I'm going to be committed to holy and righteous living. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to get you made fun of. It's going to get you uninvited from some things. It's probably going to maybe cost you some friendships. There is a cost. There will be a cost. And if somebody tells you differently, they're probably lying. And for some of you, for some of us, that has been extremely painful. But I can't even begin to describe to you the rewards over time as you say, I want to do what is right. I'm going to be committed to holy and righteous living. Now, those are the first two. And those two are those are really hard to get to. First of all, most people never get to this one, so just go ahead and stand back up. Most of us never get to where Blake is. I mean, most of us, it's kind of like, I don't even know that I want to be baptized. Some of you get to baptism and then you're done. You're like, that's it, I finished. And no. This is just the start. This is not the graduation. This is the birth. And you say, I'm going to surrender an authentic conversion, okay? Then, stay standing up for just a second. Then you submit and you're committed to holy and righteous living. And most people say, okay, now I've done this. So God, I've been good. I gave my life to you and I'm making good choices. And so now everything should be easy. No, the lies still creep in. So there's a third one, okay? So Helen, if you'll stand up, and this one is, you're going to become immersed in the life of the church. Now, I don't mean immersed like baptism, immersed in the life of the church. And we're just going to call this one support, okay, support. And so Helen, what I want you to do is, I just want you to like reach out like you're grabbing two hands on either side of you, okay, like you're in a circle, okay, very good. We're not actually going to grab hands tonight, but you're just going to reach out and you're just going to grab hands, and the word is support. Everybody say that. Everybody do that. Just reach your hands out. Like you don't really grab hands of the person beside you, but you're just going to support. Now, this is where it becomes more difficult. Because it's really, really easy for Ian to say, okay, I was baptized, I got a Bible to prove it, and holy and righteous living. Now, wait a minute. You mean the decision that I made affects the movies that I watch? Yes. That's really difficult to get to. It's really tough to get it to the second place. But this third place may be even tougher. Because Ian, this probably isn't true of Ian because I know Ian, but Ian may say, I just like to be left alone. Now, is there anything wrong with being introverted? Absolutely not. The church needs those people, and Peter even says, some of you serve behind the scenes. So this is not about saying, okay, you've now got to be everything to everybody to be accepted by God. No, you can find all kinds of personality types that are going to be in the kingdom of God, but you need to become immersed in the life of the church. You say, wait a minute, where's all the lies? Get to the lies. I'm telling you, slowly you'll begin to realize how this defeats the lies. Because what begins to happen is Ian says, I'm going to become a part of a D group. I'm going to become a part of a Bible study. I'm going to find a ministry to be a part of. Whether it's helping Mike run the sound and becoming a part of that group. Mike has discipled a lot of guys and girls over the years. When we did True North Live, there was a whole table full of people that Mike had discipled, not just because they were volunteers in his ministry, because they were doing life together. Whatever it is, you become immersed in the life of the church. And I'll tell you this, I'm just telling you right now, it's fine for you to come to True North every week. That's great. We love to have lots of people here. We love to have you on the retreat. But if Helen doesn't get immersed in the life of the church, then these are going to be very difficult to do. She may have been baptized and surrendered, and she may even reach this place where she can submit, right? Okay, let's see it again, submit. But until she does this and finds some support, until she does this, then those lies are going to creep back in because Satan is going to convince her that she is all, finish the blank, she is all alone. Did anybody say alone? Somebody probably thought it. You get credit for thinking it. Satan is going to say, Helen, you're the only person who struggles with this. I guarantee you, on this list of lies, there were a bunch of you that did not even want to write them down. I watched some of you look around to make sure somebody else was writing something down. Not because you forgot how to write, because I guarantee you somebody here said, I don't want to be the only person to write something down because if nobody else does and Skid saw me writing, he's going to know this is my lie because I was the only person that wrote anything down. Maybe nobody else in this room believes a lie. Maybe I'm the only person that believes a lie. And so several of you looked around just to make sure other people were writing things down. That is totally normal because one of the biggest lies of the enemy is nobody struggles like you do. Nobody struggles with this like you do, or nobody struggles with this at all except you. And nobody will know what to do with this if you were to talk about it. I mean, guys, I've kept this in my Bible, and I've just prayed over it and looked over it and wept over it because this is a really tough list. And until you become immersed in the life of the church and find some people, few things hurt me more on Wednesday night than to watch somebody come in and they be by themselves or they don't know anybody. We had some folks about a month ago that came, and they're not here tonight because I've looked, but about a month ago that came, and they'd never been here, and they showed up on their own, and I just went and was talking to them, and they're like, yeah, we just, heard about this group from somebody at school. We wanted to come and see it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, because routinely we have a guest who comes with their best friend from school, or their teammate who says, why don't you come? Or some of you invited friends from work, and praise God, if you're on somebody's team or in somebody's band or on somebody's squad or in somebody's class, whatever, we're glad that you're here. But very seldom does somebody just say, I heard about this group and I just decided to come check it out, and so I wanted to come and check it out. Last year, right before the pandemic started, in March of last year, there was a kid sitting in the very back at the table, and after True North, I tried to go back there, and Nico went and sat back there. I don't know if Nico's still listening online or not, but Nico was back there, and I saw him, and I said, oh, Nico, I met your friend. And he said, what do you mean? I said, your friend that you brought to True North. You didn't introduce me. He goes, well, I didn't introduce you because I didn't know him. I just met them. I said, oh, that wasn't your friend? They were like, no, they were just sitting here. And it was a kid that was just walking down the street and said, I saw some teenagers pulling in there. I want to know what was going on. So I came back here and he walked in. To my knowledge, we've not seen that person again. But I just hope that at least one time they walked in here and thought, okay, we tried our best to get connected and to find out who they were. But if you've got one other person and you show up and you know one other person, it's easy to walk into a room full of people this big. For some of you, this is so far outside of your comfort zone, it's unbelievable to walk into a room of people this big. It's heroic for some of you to do that. And others of you are like, I'd walk in here if there were 1,000 people, and I'd get up on stage and tell jokes if you wanted me to. I'd play games. I just love people. But for some people, it's very difficult to get immersed in the life of the church, but find some way that you can be connected. And you're like, how does this deal with the lies? Because eventually, Helen surrounds herself with enough support that when she starts falling for those lies, she's got a bunch of people to say, Helen, that thing that you're thinking is true of you is not true of you. And it's not just about building a lot of people to tell you the truth. That's not the point. Because guess what happens when Helen gets surrounded by a bunch of people? The next thing happens, Mandy. Come on, go ahead, stand up, Mandy. You become an active part of serving in a ministry in the church. I mean, being immersed in the life of the church may be going to True North and going on retreat and showing up for outdoor services and doing some other activities. But then when she says, I want to become a part of a ministry in the church, and so this is the one that we call serve. So Mandy, I just want you to just kind of extend your hands and say, I've got something to offer. Now listen very carefully. I want everybody to hear me. I realize this isn't one of those more hilarious, fun, interactive moments, but this is really big stuff for somebody in this room, because some of you can't even get here. The enemy has locked you up to getting to here. So you're not going to, some of you haven't even surrendered, but some of you said, okay, well, I was baptized, so I kind of got this first one here, but then you're like, okay, so now I got to submit? I don't really, that word scares me. I don't want, I'm in control. Try it. Just try being in charge yourself, and you let me know how that works out for you. And the minute you say, I'm going to try to reach out and find some support, and then those people go and they begin to serve. And then Mandy could say, but wait a minute, I'm giving, but Skid, you don't understand. I got nothing to give. It's really weird how it works, how God designed it. I can't even explain it, and I've been trying it a long time, and I've done it enough to have finally believed it. That when I am depressed the most, when I give and bless the life of somebody else, that's when I feel the joy and pleasure of God the most. You're like, I just don't know if I can do it. I can say, I get it. I can see how you wouldn't believe it. Try it. Say, try what? Try serving somebody else when you feel like you are alone and lonely and sad. Try doing something for somebody else. Just try it. You start serving and you become an active member of the church. And that leaves us with one last one here. So if you'll stand up, Alex. Then make disciples by telling other people about Jesus, because all of this is great. And there are plenty of people in this room that have made it all the way to here. I could point to some of you. I could point to several of you, and certainly people in the back of the room that have walked all the way through here. People that I know, you weren't just baptized, you changed. Like you started walking a new way. Now let me pause for a second and say this. If you've ever been around somebody that's done this, not just, hey, I got baptized, but man, I'm different. Put your hands down. How many of you have ever gone to school after a summer and you came back and one of your friends, God got a hold of them somehow in the summer. I don't expect everybody to raise your hand to this, but has anybody ever experienced that? Somebody that like you barely knew or kind of knew, somehow God got a hold of them on a mission trip or a camp, and they came back and they're like, that person is totally different. Raise your hand if you've ever experienced that. It's a really cool thing to happen. For some of you, by the way, I've seen it happen to you in this room. And then they say, I can't do those things anymore. I'm not going to do that. I used to be that, but not anymore. Like, oh, come on and do this. Don't remember when, yeah. You know what? That's not who I am anymore. And they say, well, why not? And it's because Helen would say, because I've got this support. I've got all these people around me. And we're going out and we're serving these other people and we're giving things. They're like, well, why would you give? You know, don't you want to take? And you're like, you know what? I start getting a whole lot of great spiritual blessing the more that I give. But most of us, even if you make it to here, this is great, but we stop short of this. This last one we would call share, and I just want you to extend your hand. And you say, this is where I want somebody, I want to share, and I want to say, hey, I just want you to know a little bit. Like Alex finds one of his friends who's living some lies, and he says, man, I know all about the lies you're living. He's like, you believe this and this and this, don't you? And they're like, yeah, how did you know? Who told you? He's like, nobody told me. I lived it myself. And then the goal is that when Alex can meet somebody and he can walk with them when he experiences this. That's why any of you, thanks Alex, any of you that have been baptized, at least in the past couple of years, you'll hear us say things like, from right now the clock is ticking until you're the one standing right here and you've got a friend standing right there. A few of you in here have baptized one of your friends. Is it more special because you actually did the baptism? That doesn't make you holy. The number of baptisms is not we're not keeping count. But it's important when you bring somebody along on this journey, that's a really big deal. And my guess is not many of us have experienced that joy. Some of you are working your way through this. You say, but what about all of these lies? The more you do this, every step you take, you are turning the volume level up on the truth, and you're turning the volume down on the lies. So let's go back through these because John Magnuson told me something pretty cool. He said, okay, let's just look. We've got all these cool S words. Thad McKellar, a friend of mine, some of you know Thad, was the one that came up with these S words a long time ago. But John Magnuson said we also do it this way. We talk about an authentic conversion. And then we talk about holy and righteous living. And then we also talk about immersed in the life of the church with the letter I. And then serving in a ministry of the church with the S. And then we talk about sharing or about telling other people about Jesus or a T. You put all of those together. And he says you have this word that reminds us. So whether you want to go with all of the S's or whether you want to go with the CHRIST, whatever helps you remember, this is the way that you counter all of those lies is by doing these things. You guys have a seat, but don't yet. Stay right here. We'll come back to you in just a minute. So surrender, submit, support, serve, and share. Let's just real quickly, without even speaking a word, let's just go through these hand motions, all of us, okay? The first one, what are we going to do? And then what has to happen? And then what? And then finally, yeah, you could just go and kind of work that in. It sounds like some sort of cool TikTok dance just to keep going over and try to figure that out. It's like the Macarena or something. If you do it right, it's a really cool way to remember what all of these mean. And this is that feather that Brad Montague was talking about. Remember he said if the asteroid's coming, the astronaut said, you go up there and you just hit it with enough force, like a feather. You hit it, you tap it with a feather, and it would send that asteroid off course. I just love that analogy. And doing these things, it's like they're like feather-like changes. Will change the entire course of any direction. How many of you have seen a movie like a Jesus movie, whether it's Passion of the Christ or the Jesus film or the Matthew film or the Gospel of John? Anybody seen a movie like this? Jesus is portrayed, differently. There's some Jesuses are more calm and others. Some of them talk British. Some of them look different. Some of them are taller, shorter. Some of them are much more handsome. Jesus probably wasn't all that good looking. Scripture even tells us in Isaiah that he wasn't somebody that was very pleasant to look at. So we're not exactly sure that, maybe he wasn't probably like a model or something. But you've seen a movie about Jesus. And it could say, this is an amazing story of someone who surrendered their life by submitting to God, who found support in a group of disciples that they might serve those in need in order to earn the trust to share the grace of their Creator. This could be a great IMDb blurb about a movie about the life of Jesus. Somebody said, what's this movie about? You could read this, and all the words we just looked at are there. This is the story of Jesus. Well, I want to end with something that is more on the lighter side, but I want to make a point, and I want to really hammer this series home with this truth. How many of you saw A Bug's Life? We saw it this summer. We went and saw it at the theater this summer, and that was kind of fun. How many of you remember the movie Ants that came out the same year as A Bug's Life? It's a pretty good movie, but it's like they were trying to rush to see who could get the first insect movie out the fastest. Or some of you may remember Armageddon and Deep Impact. Those movies came out at the same time. You're like, what is it with you and asteroids? You're like, you are really worried about this. I'm not really worried, but those movies were very, very similar. Or you had Avatar and Pocahontas. People even said those movies were pretty much the exact same movie. If you watched them, the plot of those movies is almost exactly the same. So I love that somebody did this. They took these two movies and they said, hey, Aladdin and Les Mis stole a loaf of bread, went to jail, given riches by someone, gained political office, took part in rebellion against the government, has long-standing feud with government official, ultimately influenced his enemy to defeat himself with singing. Those stories are very similar. Well, this one's tough. Old man stops trusting community and decides to take matters into his own hands. Right? Those plots are very, very similar. I like this one. Yeah, Blake will like this one. A bunch of dinosaurs kill a lot of people. That's what happens in these two movies. All right. Or what about these two here? Everybody's looking for this one fish, then they find it. Yep, these two movies. Yep, you know, it's Dad all along. Spoiler alert. Okay, and then you got these two films right here. I like this. They put that thing back where it came from. That may be my favorite one. Okay, I'm sorry. Main character turns blue in the end. All right, now we'll just keep moving on. We're going to keep moving on. I'll just keep moving on. Well, we got another one here. Okay, I See Dead People. Okay, we'll keep moving on. I'm moving on. I'm going to go faster. You have, these two movies are very similar right here. Resourceful guy left alone on Christmas Eve beats the criminals. Those two stories are exactly the same. Or what about these? Armageddon and the Mummy. Brave adventurers stop the rock from ruining everything. That's what happens in that movie. Here's two movies. These, you probably thought they had nothing in common. Jim Carrey really hates bats. That's the point of these two movies. Or what about these two? These two, I'm not recommending that you see one of them, but one of them's great. A cowboy must deal with an unwelcome alien. Yep. Yeah, you can kind of see where this is going. A child is taken away and a parent will go to great lengths to rescue them. Or this one right here. Yeah, you know how this one goes. Tom Hanks' flight doesn't go well. That's the plot of these movies, okay? So there you go. So now, this is an amazing story of someone who surrendered their life by submitting to God, who found support in a group of disciples that they might serve those in need in order to earn their trust to share the grace of their Creator. That's the plot of the Jesus movie. Or if somebody hears that at your school, do they say, oh, yeah, I've seen that. That's my friend Helen. You're like, no. No, I'm talking about this Jesus movie I saw. They're like, yeah, but you just read all that. What that describes is my friend Helen. Now, this right here, this is my friend Alex. Have you met Alex? I don't even know who Alex is. Well, this is Alex. He's done all of these things. When you start doing these 5 things, guess what happens? Your story becomes so intertwined with the story of Jesus that people can't tell them apart, and they say it's basically the same story. If you know the story of Jesus in the Gospels and you watch Julia for about a month and you follow her and listen to her talk and the way she serves people and spend time with her friends, you're going to be so confused because you're going to think that's a movie about Julia Jenkins. I'm not picking on you, Julia. One, I'm kind of bragging on you because I picked you on purpose because you're one of many. You're not just the only one. You're one of many that lives this in this room. That your story could be confused. Now, not all of us live stories that if we said, is this a movie about you? Some people are going to go, no, that's not my friend, fill in the blank. And hopefully it's not your name. So here's this word, bahra, and I want to show you the coolest place that it appears in Scripture. It's in Psalm 51, the song that we sang earlier. Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. I'm not going to read the whole passage. We sing the song. We've sang it for 3 weeks now because it's taken a while to get to this. I just want you to see this verse. This word create is the word bahra. It's the Hebrew, it's the same word that is used in Genesis about to create. But a friend of mine that is a Hebrew person was looking at this, and then I actually called my friend Michael Strickland to verify it. I was on a walk one day, and I said, Michael, tell me if this is true. And he said, well, I got to look that up. He looked it up, and he said, no, you know what? You're right. It is a form of the word bara. You'll see it there. He said it is a form of that word, but it's a word that means to keep creating. It is the form of the verb is not one like, God, do this, but to do it today. You did it then, you're doing it now, and you're going to keep doing it. Keep doing it. God, keep creating in me. Every day, bara, me, keep creating in me a clean spirit. Not just when I was baptized, like wash me, but wash me every day. And Michael and I were talking, he was like, that's really cool. I never noticed that, yeah, that is bara, but it's a different version of the word. So much so that one rabbi wrote out the entire creation story on this egg in Hebrew. Because he said, I want people to know that God not only creates the egg, He creates what's in the egg, and then the thing that's inside the egg is going to create something else. And then that thing's going to create more eggs, which are going to create more animals inside the egg. And he says, this is what it means to bara, to keep creating, to keep doing this over and over and over. You will fall for these lies until you get to the point that you can pray the prayer in Psalm 51, God, keep creating in me a clean heart. And so the last Toy Story image I'll show you is the one that you know is probably one of my favorite. When Woody forgets who he is, Buzz reminds him, don't you remember what you did for me in the first movie? He doesn't use those lines, but that's what he says. And Woody sits down and he scrapes off where the world had painted over. And I will tell you right now that my favorite thing in 25 years of youth ministry, for a quarter of a century, the greatest joy of my life, hands down, has been watching students get to this moment. And it doesn't happen every day, it doesn't happen every summer, and it doesn't happen to every student. But the joy of when it happens to one person who says, I believed all of this junk, and you're telling me that I experienced, and you know how, you know what got them to discover this moment? You know what got them to discover it? You guys stand up one last time. They discovered it because somewhere they said, I'm changing directions. When I just point to you, you just do your emotion. And they said, I'm just going to give up because I can't make it on my own. I've fallen for these lies. I'm struggling. And God, you're bigger than I am. And so I'm going to submit to you because I'm tired of trying to survive this on my own. And God goes, you're not alone. I want you to go and find other people that can support you. And I want you to walk with them. And those lies begin to get thinner and thinner because it starts getting scraped off, and soon you begin to realize what was written on your soul, pun intended, a long time ago, because then you start getting into a ministry and you start serving other people, and those lies begin to get quieter and quieter because the truth gets turned up more and more. And then guess what? You don't have to worry. Nobody says, I'm too shy, I don't know enough. Once you've experienced those four things, this will just naturally happen to you. This will just, you won't be able to stop talking about it. And then when that happens, people are going to say, you won't believe this awesome story. You've got to meet my friend Alex. There is something about this guy that I just don't understand, but you've got to meet him. And somebody goes and meets him and they say, oh, you know what? I don't know Alex, but I know this story. And they're like, how'd you know the story? They're like, because I read it a long, long time ago. I saw this story, and the plots are essentially the same. So I don't know if that makes sense, and you may be disappointed to know that that is the remedy for these lies. Is to start a journey where you walk through these things, and for some of you, it's right here. I can't make you do it. I can just say the lies are going to rule you until you get to here. And once you experience this, it'll be very easy to do this. And then once you start living like this, people are going to want to be around you. You won't have to try to make friends. People will start flocking to you because they're going to want to be around you. And when enough good people who have done this are together, they say, hey, there's some people out there that have a need. Let's go and bless them. And you just go and start doing it. And then when you do it, this just starts happening without you stopping it. All I can say is try it. And if it doesn't work, you come and you let me know. And we'll figure it out because something wrong has happened because this will just naturally happen. May your story be so intertwined with the story of Jesus that people hear them and they think they're exactly the same plot. And I'm who I am because I surrounded myself with a lot of people over the years, and some I didn't want to be surrounded by, but they brought themselves into my life, who lived like Jesus so much around me that I thought I was watching the Jesus movie all the time. And to those of you who are doing that, thank you, because you're changing the world. And to those of you that aren't doing that, what are you waiting for? I'm not making you feel bad. I'm just inviting you to join us in writing an amazing story. God, I thank you for these students and for this particular story and for Psalm 51, that you will not only create, but that you will keep creating in our hearts. Every day, God, you will keep creating a pure heart. For the student who's struggling with their language, just continually surround them with other people that talk pure, and then it becomes easier. For the person who's struggling with an addiction to a substance or to images or to an attitude, just surround them, God, with people who have submitted and surrendered and who are serving, and they'll find the support that they need. And God, for the person whose life is pretty good and they're doing all these things except that fifth one, I just pray that you bring somebody into their life who says, you know what, I'm living a story that I do not like, and I see the plot of yours and I really like it. Would you help me? God, I pray that you send that person into the orbit of somebody in this room. And may we remember these 5 things. Be with our students as they go to fall break and as we take a little bit of a rest from the rhythm of meeting and bring us back together as soon as possible, God. Be with those who are sick and those who are afraid, those who've lost loved ones, those who are in the hospital, or those who will be, and keep Bachra, keep creating within us. And it's through the name of Jesus we pray and we all say together, amen. God bless you guys. Thank you all for helping us out up here. Have a great night, everybody. If you're watching at home, enjoy your evening, and we'll see you guys next in 2 weeks. Have a great fall break. Thanks for visiting with us if you're here. Hey, 7th graders, if you're a 7th grader and you did not get a lunchbox, would you come meet us on the stage or right now? We'd love to give you one of your survival kits. You can see those in the back if you want to buy an NYG sticker. Any 7th grader who did not get one of the lunchboxes